And we're off and underway. Here comes the chase behind. This is a good move now. Lining himself up to the sprint. Is he going to take the stage? Yes, he is!
Hello, welcome to Suffolk. We're in Felixstowe for stage 5 of this year's Tour of Britain. The race starts and finishes here today on a really big loop into the beautiful Suffolk countryside. As you can see, once again, it's sunglasses weather. The temperature continues to rise, as does the pressure you would imagine on Team Jumbo-Visma and Olaf Koy, but they haven't cracked yet. No change at all from the day before for stage 4 for all the right reasons. Fantastic weather, a good sprint stage coming your way, and once more 94 riders taking to the start in Sherwood Forest, riding to a finish in Newark. No do not starts or did not finishes. The usual suspects got in the break, 3 riders in James Fouché, Harry Tanfield again, and Abram Stockman, also of TDT Unibet. The early KOM point at Kilton Hill, the Cat 3, was Fouché once more, first over the summit from Tanfield, and Stockman agreeing to let him go for those points in the King of the Mountains competition. Gaviria led the peloton across the line soon after. The breakaway's lead extended to around 2.5 minutes once more, not enough to see them through to the end of the day's stage. The same 3 riders then led through the sprint in Bourton, Tanfield, Fouché and Stockman in that order. This time, Wout van Aert leading the peloton through, followed by Jos van Emden.
Yeah, he just takes a few points there.
Fouché then led again over the second KOM at Red Hill Lane and then sat up to be swallowed up by the peloton. Tanfield and Stockman, though, continued in vain. With just inside 30 k's to go, a lone attack, the Bingold team forced the catch of the leaders and brought the peloton all back together again, setting up a bunch sprint and a pretty spicy one in the narrow streets of Newark.
Olaf Koy, Van Uden alongside him, Cantor trying to get there, and they're finishing fast, but Olaf Koy hangs on and makes it 4.
So the general classification at the halfway point after that sprint finish into Newark, and no change in the top spot. Dutchman Olaf Koy, 4 in 4 for him now, keeping him very much in the leader's jersey. Impressive, though, from young Britain Ethan Vernon, now second on the podium, followed by the German Max Cantor. David Miller is here with me right now at the Felixstowe seaside. Very pleasant it is too. And David, it really is Olaf the Invincible. 4 in 4, not to be sniffed at. Just an incredible achievement by the Dutchman.
Yeah, it is, and it's quite a rare achievement in cycling. It's not often we see this happen. Granted, it's been thanks to the repetitive flat days, which I think have allowed that to happen, but also the power of Jumbo-Visma, not only their ability to control the race, but that lead out. I mean, they seem to save it even when it starts to go wrong. So Olaf Koy is being allowed to do something that will happen to him very few times in his career.
Got a little bit hectic towards the end, though. Jumbo-Visma lost the front for a while. The other teams thought they were in with a sniff, but somehow they just managed to get it back again. It's almost miraculous.
Well, I think it also says so much about Nathan van Hooydonk and Wout van Aert. These are 2 of the best bike racers in the world, and arguably with Wout van Aert, the best. And they can find solutions to problems, any problem. And that's what Olaf Koy has at his disposal. But that doesn't mean that it's a given that he can get on them, and that's what he was able to prove yesterday as well. They looked after themselves, got the lead out, and Olaf Koy managed to find them. It's impressive.
From the aerial shots our helicopter gets of the Tour of Britain, life in the peloton appears positively serene as they gently snake their way along each stage through town and country. Seen from ground level, though, things are very different.
The stakes are high, so you can't always be friendly.
At some point, you're just gambling. I mean, you have no choice but to trust the rider in front of you.
It's amazing how many you can fit right next to each other.
There's always a director in your ear, and there's always thoughts about where the next key point is.
Where's he going? He's not going anywhere.
You can feel in the bunch as well when it becomes more nervous and wanting to give it a little bit more space in the wheels, especially going into corners.
Concentrate, stick together.
Everyone from every team is trying to stick to their teammate's wheel no matter what.
Mark, you're on Rory's wheel and you don't move that wheel all day, okay? That is your wheel, brother.
Just stay together. It will open up.
You can't afford to give up positions, and the margins get like smaller and smaller the closer to the finish line.
You have time to chat and have a little fun. It's a bit like taking the stress off, because you know in the final there will be stress.
There's parts of the day where it's not so stressful, you know, you're not so close, but they always ramp up towards the end. They always ramp up towards the key points.
Fight for this guy. They fight for it.
We're riding down 75 km/h with one guy 5 centimeters on your right and 110 on your left.
The margins are so tight that there's hardly any room for error, and usually a few people go down if one person makes a mistake.
That roll! Big crash! DSM down!
In the final, you just yell. Then you're no friends anymore.
You feel some fear, but you have to deal with it and go on with it.
Nice riding today.
Stressful is the word, and yeah, it's quite a skill.
David, it's incredible for us mere mortals to get a sense of what it's really like in the pro peloton. Does that bring back memories for you, seeing the argy-bargy, the shoulder barging, a lot of the shouting that goes on?
Yeah, does you kind of forget about that? I mean, I'm so accustomed to watching bike racing like any spectator these days, from the motorbikes, from the helicopters, on a TV screen. So it is a reminder of what it was like, and that serenity that it sometimes looks like. And, you know, you miss it sometimes. When you see that, I'm just like, I quite like not being in that anymore.
It makes you realise just how much they sort of bounce off each other in the sprint finish. We saw a couple of days ago Ethan Vernon and Max Canter properly track cycling, barging going on. I mean, it could be a bit nerve-wracking.
It's more than nerve-wracking, it can be absolutely terrifying, and that's the difference between the best and the others. They're able to manage that, keep cool heads, even when it's completely crumbling around them and people are getting angry. And I think we see that with Wout van Aert over and over again. Even Olav Koy, they're always in the right place at the right time and finding the gaps where others are just losing their heads.
Yeah, David, thanks a lot. Let's have a closer look now at today's Stage 5 into and out of Felixstowe. Stage 5 combines the start and the finish in Felixstowe, one of Suffolk's most recognisable seaside towns, with a clockwise loop through the county's quintessentially British villages. At 192 kilometres long, this is the longest route in the 2023 Tour, but the relatively flat profile means it will again be a target for the sprinters. With the two King of the Mountains and the stage sprints taking place early on, the peloton will be able to find a fast rhythm as they head back towards the finish. The final 6 kilometres replicate the finale of the Women's Tour back in 2021 in front of 10,000 spectators. Felixstowe is a charming Edwardian seaside town offering pleasant walks along the seafront with its fine architecture, colourful beach huts and 4 miles of lovely beaches. Up the hill from the seafront is Felixstowe's bustling town centre, and at the northern end of the town is the charming fishing and sailing hamlet of Felixstowe Ferry. The 18th century fort on the Landguard Peninsula is one of England's best preserved coastal defences, still keeping a watchful eye over Britain's busiest port. Crowds starting to gather now. Disco on the PA system can only mean one thing. They're getting ready for a fast finish here at Felixstowe. So let's get over to our commentary team of Ned Bolting and David Miller.
Thank you very much, Matt. Off they roll onto the quite long neutralised rollout, 8.8 kilometres of neutralised rollout before the flag eventually will drop. And they all make their way off. Ethan Vernon in conversation with Harry Tanfield at the front. Harry Tanfield having featured in 3 of the 4 possible breakaways in this edition of the Tour of Britain. And Ethan Vernon will not be getting in a break. He will be taking his chances in the expected bunch sprint at the end of the day. Niels Pollitt, the last rider off the start line in the colours of Bora Hansgrohe. 94 riders in this peloton. We've just had 2 abandons so far in the Tour of Britain, heading into Stage 5. Will it be the same script?
Well, it's up to the peloton to change the script, because at the moment Jumbo-Visma will be very happy and they have the means to control it just as they have done in the first 4 stages.
Which riders are going to try and make it in the breakaway today? Harry Tanfield almost inevitably lurking around the front. A couple of those jerseys that belong to the Tour de Titema Unibet team. Uno X tried and failed to get a rider up the road yesterday. They've got 2 riders, including the Norwegian national champion Fredrik Deversnes, towards the front. Q36.5 also have a rider in the front row of riders there, and so too do Bingol. And both those teams, as well as Can Farmer in the dark green, have tried on occasions to get riders in the break, and so far unsuccessfully. Well, we're going to get a race underway fairly soon. They are, as you can see, rolling out of the neutral. Kilometre zero is upon us. Mick Bennett is about to get the race underway. The flag is in his hand. The flag drops on kilometre zero and we're underway. So Rootkin Gray attacking on his own. He's got a little bit of a gap, and Q36.5 are counter-attacking. Dversnes is going with that rider from Q36.5 as well. So yeah, we have got a little bit more of a battle to get in the day's breakaway.
And the longer it stays these big roads, the better, because it does make it more difficult for those World Tour teams to control this race. We're seeing a few more teams today than we have in previous days trying to make it to the break.
And I'll tell you what, David, I think it's incredibly impressive the way James Fouché races in this phase of the race. He expends as little energy as possible, doesn't he, in fifth position there. Having said that,
he goes.
He attacks. And he has done that as well. He was the attacker who prized off the breakaway in stage 1.
And Tanfield.
And Tanfield. No, surely not.
It is.
Well, we were promised from TDT Unibet there'd be different riders in the breakaway today, but Tanfield hasn't read the script. So 2 from TDT Unibet. James Fouché, St Piran with a 2 up. I think Harry Birchall and Jack Rootkin Gray are the 2 riders there. Flanders Balois have got a rider off the front, Kern Farmer, Q36.5, so it's a bigger breakaway already than we've seen. The Flanders rider has made the junction, and so too on his wheel has the rider from Kern Farmer, who I think is Danny van den Toek.
This is a good size move. This is the sort of move that will put the peloton under a lot more stress.
Yeah, optimal size, isn't it? What is it, 7-8 riders? And lots of double representation as well by St Piran and TDT Unibet, both with 2 riders in the move. Nathan van Hooijdonk is working hard on the front, and he's trying to bring us back. This is just a little bit too big for their liking.
And the wheel's been let go, and that hard chase from van Hooijdonk in his Grenadiers, but Ben Turner trying to close it down.
Oh, this is chaotic now.
Yeah, this is what you want. You want the peloton to be put under stress. Jumbo-Visma do not want a group of 7 riders. That's 2 riders cannot control that. They'd have to burn through their team.
And here come the counter-attacks. Q36.5 now as the breakaway is caught. Fouché pushing on.
This is the sort of road where the World Tour teams can close it down. You can see how narrow it is.
And again, the numbers are piling forwards. Steven Kruijswijk at the back, waiting for his turn. Once it all settles down, he'll get on the front. And this looks like it's the move of the day. Uno X haven't made it, and there have been a few teams that have missed out. Bingol not represented once again, and Flanders Balois have missed the move. So it is St Piran, Bolton Equities. Unbelievable. James Fouché is still there. He just persisted. Q36.5 for the first time with a rider up the road, and St Piran and TDT Unibet. 5 riders off the front, and plenty of teams missing out once more. Bora Hansgrohe committed to this tactic. That looks like it's the German Niels Pollitt now, being hunted down by Harry Tanfield of TDT Unibet, who is working to protect the presence of his teammate up the road.
Jumbo-Visma have to try and shut this down, because 5 riders in the peloton is the kind of rule that the peloton can manage 5 riders, but anything above that, it becomes touch and go, and especially if you get a rider in Niels Pollitt, like Niels Pollitt, in that group, and then TDT Unibet would have 2 riders in this group.
That's how close it is now. I'm not even sure that's 11 seconds. Those 5 riders are looking round, and Niels Pollitt is the perfect rider to deploy at this point for Bora Hansgrohe, the German. He's almost there, but if they can persist and just hold the German off, then this 5-rider group could still be the break of the day. But they're really under threat now from this one concerted move from Niels Pollitt. They're going to shut him down before he gets there. And that might be a key moment in this race. Pollitt gives up, pulls over. Jumbo-Visma have shut it down. Has anybody got it in the legs to counter?
He'll be looking for a teammate, Pollitt, going, where's the counter-attack? Come on, guys.
Rasmus Tiller's going to go, I think. Rasmus Tiller from Uno X. There he is, Rasmus Tiller in that red jersey, but it looks a bit laboured. It doesn't look too dynamic from Rasmus Tiller. He's a big rider, and that was such a small gap. Can he get across? Movistar with Fernando Gaviria marking the move, and so too are Q36.5.
Pollitt will be spitting teeth at the moment, hoping that his teammates react to this. Oof. Tiller taking the short way round. He hopes.
He hopes. Well, that's where the break is. So close to getting there.
Yeah, this is good. It means it's going to reactivate this break now. Is letting it go. They see they're on them. So, Well, we're going to see a second flurry, but the peloton is under stress. You could see there that lull after that huge chase of trying to get Niels Pollitt back. That put the peloton under stress, and this is the time where a strong move can go.
Fouché. Danny Van Poppel appears on the front now from Bora Hansgrohe, taking with him Rasmus Tiller and another rider from Q36.5 and Fernando Gaviria. Hats off to James Fouché, though. He's so close to this first climb of the day. It starts at 168.1 kilometres. It's the climb of Felixstowe. It's barely a bump in the profile. But Fouché, after investing so much in that opening move now, drops back, and Danny Van Poppel launches off the front.
And hats off to Van Poppel as well. He's completely bought into the Bora Hansgrohe tactic.
Yep.
He's understood that he cannot beat Jumbo-Visma when they've got that train going. He is going to try another tactic, and it's brilliant to see a sprinter racing like this.
Danny Van Poppel on the offensive. Uno X trying to react to get across to the Bora Hansgrohe man. So we have a World Tour look to the front of the race now, which is new. We have been complaining a little bit about the script that has been so narrowly followed over the last 4 days of racing. Today, at least in the opening phase of the race, something totally different.
Yeah, Kruijswijk still sitting on the back. His job will come later once it's settled down. They don't want him burning matches at this point in the race. It's up to the stronger riders, the leaders, let's say, to control this part. And it's proving to be difficult for Jumbo-Visma. They're having to put a lot of effort in, and this is what the peloton needs to do if they want to break them.
Crossing the Orwell River estuary, or just the peloton is going alongside it. Bolton Equities.
Fouché going again.
Fouché following his teammates' move there. Uno X with representation.
And that's a move to go Van Poppel
going again.
Fouché 100% invested in this, and that's good for anybody who wants to try and get in the move now to make the move. They know if they go with Fouché, they're going to have a rider who is going to go incredibly deep.
De Vesnes, another rider from TDT Unibet who don't miss a beat, do they? And St. Piran, Harry Birchall, I think, again, following this move.
No, TDT Unibet really do not miss a beat. They are forever active at the front.
Now then, 4 riders off the front. Can't see, is it a GB rider at the very back of this group? No, Q36.5. So this one has potential to go.
And again, that's a move that the big teams who are blocking defending will be very happy with, 4 riders. But again, it looks like it's counter-attacking behind.
On to the first climb of the day. Again, it's a Category 3 climb. It's barely a bump on the road, to be perfectly honest, Preston. The finish line is at 167.4, so it's not that long. As a group of 4 riders off the front just splits into 2. There's a counter-attack coming off the front of a bunch which has not settled down at all yet, even after the best part of 25 kilometres of racing in this baking hot Suffolk sunshine. And for once on a climb, we have got a different situation. We don't have the black jersey of James Fouché on the front. Ryan Mullen has appeared here from Bora Hansgrohe, and Mullen is persisting with Bora Hansgrohe's disruptive tactics today.
Yeah, Jumbo-Visma have understood. They can see as well as us what Bora Hansgrohe are trying to do. They're making sure not one of their riders gets away. It's Affini now who is on marking duty.
Yeah, in the yellow of Jumbo-Visma, the first time he's had to work right on the front so far today. Where's the next attack coming from? There is the black jersey of James Fouché. I don't take for granted how difficult that is, or shouldn't take for granted the fact that James Fouché finds himself there, David. The amount of work he's done over the first 25 kilometres, simply to be at the front, is incredibly impressive.
Yeah, it is. He took the punt of the breakaway, making it there. It didn't work, but he's not letting go.
Got a chance here of taking another 4 points. Everybody knows what that jersey means. Everybody knows effectively that James Fouché is in a race of his own. And it's just self-evident that no one is that interested in taking the race to him. But James Fouché now finds himself caught and passed, and he's not... Oh, well, he's through the top. Yep. He's through the top, so he timed it perfectly. James Fouché does take a further 4 points, and that's half a job done once again for Fouché today.
Yeah, he will now retire into the peloton.
For now, there's another climb a little bit further up the road at 150.2 kilometres to go. So not far, actually. 18 kilometres until the second climb of the day.
Well, we're back to kilometre 0, if you like. Peloton completely unified. Jumbo-Visma doing a fantastic job, but I'm sure they can do this for quite a while yet. But the point is, it's going to have a cost.
Well, Van Hooijdonk, probably of the Jumbo-Visma riders, has invested more than any so far in today's race. And given the way that Van Hooijdonk raced yesterday in the final and chaotic 3 kilometres of the race, they need him in the final.
Yeah, they do. He is a key part of that lead out. He is the rider designated to position Wout van Aert inside that final kilometre, and that is a big task. So if they can wear him down now, that's going to open up the sprint all the more for everyone else.
That is Joey Roscoff from Q36.5, the American, who's on the front and taking with him one of the Global 6 riders. Those two have got a little bit of a gap. Here's the result of the first King of the Mountains of the day. Mark Donovan took second place from the bunch. Alex Coleman from Flanders Baloise in third. Johannesson of Uno X picked up fourth place, but the first place, that's the important one, went to James Fouché, who picks up another 4 points in the King of the Mountains competition, extends his lead over the second placed Harry Tanfield.
Welcome back. Following the ascent of the first King of the Mountains climb at Freston, Abram Stockman of TDT Unibet managed to join Callum Ormiston and Joe Roscoff. The three then have a lead of over a minute as we approach the second climb of the day at Holbrook Hill.
Having briefly not known whether they were going to be chased down or not, they now understand that with a 1.5 minute gap, they will go over the top of this climb as one. Abram Stockman is the only rider who's got any King of the Mountains points, which he picked up after his presence in the breakaway yesterday. So even though he's a long, long way down on James Fouché, I would imagine, just as a kind of insurance, that he would try and get the maximum 4 points. He starts the day on 6 points.
Yeah, I think he'll just take it over the line up here. Makes sense.
Might as well just add to his tally. The other two haven't even got started, I don't think. Oh, Callum Ormiston must have some points, thinking about it. Oh, yeah, he doesn't. Despite the fact that he was in a breakaway on, what was it, stage 2 or 3? So Stockman does roll over the finish in first place. Not much of a climb, that, really, was it?
No.
Where is the man with the black jersey as he made his way towards the front?
He's there behind the Uno X on the left-hand side of the road, but I don't think he's that bothered about this one unless he gets an opportunistic gap. I don't think he's going to fight to be up there.
Started the day on 33 points. He already added 4 points, so he hasn't added to his tally here. It was Harry Tanfield, actually, who just picked up 1 point there and closed the gap between first and second in the King of the Mountains competition. Just adding another point to his tally, he moves from 18 to 19 points. But James Fouché is going to be on 37 points at the end of the day. So 19 points is his lead in the King of the Mountains competition. Here is the result of the second climb of the day. Abram Stockman from the breakaway picked up the maximum 4 points, changing the script somewhat from the procession of points acquisition from James Fouché. Roscoff in second place, Callum Ormiston in third, picking up 2 points, and Harry Tanfield just nipping off the front of the bunch to ensure that he picked up 1 point for fourth place. 1 kilometre to go until the intermediate sprint in Hadley. Abram Stockman just going back to the team car alongside him, getting it, by the looks of it, possibly a little bit of ice to put in the back of his racing jersey to keep him cool as we enter the historic town of Hadley with its half-timbered houses and its long history associated with the cloth trade going back for hundreds of years. Callum Ormiston finds himself on the front, Joey Roscoff on his wheel, and Abram Stockman. Well, that's not a bad vantage point. Spectator halfway up a step ladder to get the best possible picture. She'll have to wait another couple of minutes until the peloton gets here. Stockman moves to the front. He took the climb at Holbrook, and his teammate Harry Tanfield, when he's been in breakaways, has always come away winning the sprint, and I wonder whether exactly the same thing will happen here with Abram Stockman. Straight on for the sprint, nearly there. Joey Roscoff looks like he might be about to try and possibly come off the wheel. Although there's the line, and Stockman rolls over in first place. Joey Roscoff in second place and Callum Ormiston in third. Now then, there are 3 points on offer for fourth place. And yesterday, we saw Wout van Aert just move up to the bunch to pick up the very, very minor placings in the points competition. And I wonder if he's going to do that again today. In a couple of minutes, we'll know.
Peloton now is approaching that 2-minute limit, which I think they'll have put on this breakaway. And then they will just sit into pace matching of these 3 riders. It's a minute and a half they've taken out of them since they started riding.
Yeah. But then, as you're saying, David, it probably will get to around about 2 minutes and they'll ease up a little bit. And that would be the expectation. They'll just stabilise it there and hold it. A long, long way still to go in today's stage. And no need to bring it any further down than it is already at 2 minutes. Right then, let's see the bunch through the intermediate sprint at Hadley. Jos van Emden's on the front, Steven Kruijswijk is on the wheel. No sign of Movistar actually working right on the front, and also no sign today of Wout van Aert. Maybe he's just found himself a little bit further back down the line and doesn't want to actually invest that extra little bit of energy in moving up the line to pick up the minor points in the points jersey, which of course is a competition being headed emphatically by Olaf Koy at the moment. If you win 4 stages in a row, you end up with 100 points. It's as simple as that. The points competition heavily backloaded in favour of the stage winners rather than accruing them on the road at intermediate sprints. A few hundred metres to go still for Jos van Emden, etc. It calms down slightly now. Steven Kruijswijk was working a little bit harder than Jos van Emden, and Van Emden's turn has just stabilised that time gap a little bit. So they are being held at 2 minutes and 20 seconds now. And the good citizens of Hadley standing 2-3 deep on the pavements in incredible sunshine, unseasonable sunshine. Oh, there is Wout van Aert. So he is doing it again. Van Aert effortlessly has just nipped to the front, and he's going to take 4th place in the intermediate sprint and pick up the further 3 points. Just to shore up his second place in the points competition. He's done it again. So Wout van Aert just playing a little game of his own there, just on the off chance that he ends up accidentally almost winning the points competition if he were to take some victories towards the back end of this Tour of Britain. And of course he does have major opportunities on stage 7 and stage 8 to actually ride for himself potentially, rather than supporting Olaf Koy in the opening 6 stages, which has very much been his role to this point in the race. Just confirmation then of who finished where in that sprint that wasn't really contested. Abraham Stockman rolled through in first place from the breakaway. Wout van Aert, that's the only thing of significance there, just popped up and claimed 4th place and 3 points in the sprint. Welcome back. And then there were 2. Joey Roscoff and Abraham Stockman, a Belgian, and a very experienced American, the only riders still off the front of the race, because on this little uncategorised climb here, Callum Ormiston just moments ago pulled the pin and drifted back through a 30-second gap and was swept up by Steven Kruijswijk. So the South African rider from Global 6 Cycling, the first of the trio and the day's second breakaway to give up the ghost and fall back into the peloton. There's Bennett, rider 41. Edith Schelling is alongside him, and when the camera just moves back, you can see a little exchange of words there, and Bennett shakes his head, and that looks like a rider who's saying, I'm not feeling good.
Yeah,
to me. Joey Roscoff attacks, or rather breaks the wheel of Abraham Stockman and Klaas will out. The American has flown the coupe, checks over his shoulder, sees that Stockman has given up, and we have one lone attacker off the front now.
Split up a bit now, but they do have the majority of their riders right at the front of the peloton. Obviously inspired by Luc Lampert's ride yesterday, even though it was compromised by a mechanical. He shows he can be up there. Jumbo-Visma now all organised. Affini, Van Hooijdonk, Wout van Aert and Olaf Koy.
Bora Hansgrohe a little bit further down the road on the right-hand side. There's Wout van Aert, bottom right in that bunch, or the frame you can see at the front end of the peloton. And there's Olaf Koy on his wheel. And if the shot widens out, you can start to see the Bora Hansgrohe riders moving up on the right-hand side of the road now. Where's Sam Bennett? Hard to see from that altitude. Have they got to flip their tactics again on the road, Bora Hansgrohe? There's been a fair amount of turmoil one way or the other in their decision-making between Danny van Poppel and Sam Bennett. Lord knows what they're planning today, but just that sense that Sam Bennett perhaps was feeling a bit laboured today in the heat.
Yeah, there's something going on there. It'd be interesting to find out what. But that body language is not indicative of a sprinter who's fighting for the win.
Now, what's interesting here is that Bolton Equities, Black Spoke, still with James Fouché on the front, on the right there. They have got the part of the road that Ineos Grenadiers would want to be in.
Yeah, it's true. They really have owned that. And it's Fouché who's now dropped off, but Fouché who was holding that there for a number of kilometres. Now, which is the right side?
That's a
side.
proper wrong way round.
Jumbo-Visma
got that horribly wrong. Now, I hope the signage was not unfairly against them there, but that bumped Jumbo-Visma, amongst other teams, right down to the back of the bunch, with 8K to go.
Yeah, well, they're going to have to burn a few matches now. Still no problem, I think, with the firepower they've got, but this would be a good opportunity if you're a Movistar to put the hammer down.
Well, a couple of Trinity riders found themselves just off the front, courtesy of that split. Where are the Jumbo-Visma
All the way
riders?
back.
All the way back there. All the way back.
Well, Jos van Emden and Kruijswijk might have to do another job.
Just when they thought their day was over. So Bolton Equities got through that in good shape, and so too did Movistar, Trinity Racing once more. Those three teams all over the front. There's Bora Hansgrohe, they've missed out. Jumbo-Visma trying to rescue this situation once more.
Nathan van Hooijdonk, so individually it looks like trying to get back up there. He doesn't look too stressed at the moment. Where is Wout van Aert and Olaf Koy? That's the question.
Still quite a long way out. Impressive ride from Bolton Equities. They're riding for Rory Townsend, the Irishman today. Top 10 for him again yesterday.
This is the benefit of that smaller peloton. I think it's... I don't think Jumbo-Visma are very stressed by that situation, especially when you see how wide this road is.
Well, Alex Dowsett, who joined us a little bit earlier, he's been in and raced or ridden the final few kilometres and did describe it as fairly straightforward. So big wide roads. Joey Roscoff is about to be caught here. He gives up, he sits up, and he's going to be swept up as Flanders Balois appeared down the middle of the road alongside the fluorescent day-glow colours of the Bingol team. Movistar still holding the right-hand side of the road with Fernando Gaviria just on the wheel of their protected sprinter Max Canter today, just guarding his rear wheel.
Affini from Jumbo-Visma has made it back up there. So I'm sure before long we'll see Wout van Aert. There you go, they're already back up there, Jumbo-Visma.
Yeah. No panic whatsoever. 5 kilometres to go, we're hearing on Race Radio, and we're seeing that sign now, 5K to go. So the kilometres are ticking by now, and they are starting to engage their final lead-out trains. We've got a big effort there on the front from Q36.5 to push to the front of the race.
Yeah, let's not forget a 2K to go. It drops down. It's going to be very high speed, and then they have these technical sections. They have a roundabout, then 2 left-handers inside the final kilometre. So the race is going to be on from now till there's 2Ks to go.
Luke Lamperty being moved up on the right-hand side of the road by his Trinity teammates. He's got another teammate trying to get across to join in and help him out. And here comes Jumbo-Visma now. Couldn't quite see where Olaf Koy was there,
he's there.
But Wout van Aert has got Van Hooijdonk in front of him and Affini in front of him. And there is Olaf Koy, yep. So Jumbo-Visma, once again, almost effortlessly and smoothly have reimposed themselves with 4 kilometres to go. They are all over the front.
Yeah, they're taking it early, Jumbo-Visma. It's Nathan van Hooijdonk, I think, who's coming. Affini now coming over to take over. They want to save Nathan van Hooijdonk if they can, but van Hooijdonk has decided he wants to do this turn.
Max Canter trying to mix it with Olaf Koy for the wheel of Wout van Aert and try and get involved. Trinity looking around to see where Lamperty is. Lamperty on the wheel, almost on the wheel of Olaf Koy once more. Still being moved up on the left-hand side there. And Lamperty just alongside Wout van Aert now. Trinity Racing on the front. There's Danny van Poppel in that light green, lime green points jersey.
Van Hooijdonk keeping a very cool head here, not accelerating through. Wout van Aert, they still have Affini as well.
Tom Pidcock being protected now on the left-hand side of the road by Ineos Grenadiers. And Ethan Vernon in that white jersey for the Great Britain team alongside Max Canter in the heart of the front end of the peloton.
Movistar stuck in the middle at the moment, not in prime position. But you can see Jumbo-Visma staying so cool at the moment.
Yeah, waiting, lurking. Affini it is, and Van Hooydonk, Van Aert, Kooi, alongside him, Van Poppel, Fernando Gaviria too. Those riders in a little group there, around about 7 or 8 places back on the right-hand side of the road. There's an acceleration now by Nathan Van Hooydonk to follow this move now by Trinity Racing with Lamperty.
Yeah, they're still just biding their time. This is the advantage they have when they have the power. They know when they go, they can make the difference and punch through. So at the moment, they're just holding strong, keeping position, using those other teams to their advantage.
Kooi just briefly bumped off the wheel of Wout van Aert there by a rider from Bingoal, but should be able to get back on as Bolton Equities, with 4 riders towards the front, re-establish their authority at the front of this race. A good showing from the Kiwi team once more.
There you go. Now Nathan Van Hooydonk is now firing up, coming through. He has Affini, Wout van Aert and Olaf Kooi on his wheel.
And he's got Danny Van Poppel on Olaf Kooi's wheel as well. So Van Poppel has picked the wheel of Olaf Kooi. So there's a big battle for it now. It's Max Canter on Olaf Kooi's wheel. Up on the right-hand side of the road, still with strength in depth here. But I think it might be the left-hand side of the road that they would want to be in as they go inside 2 kilometres to go. As the road splits, next time it's probably the left-hand side of the road that they want to be on round the roundabout.
So at the moment, Movistar, look, Canter moving up, trying to get the wheel of Olaf Kooi. He's got Gaviria on his wheel as well. So will Gaviria try and go early and try and jump the Jumbo-Visma train?
Big battle again for Kooi's wheel. Look at that. It's Max Canter who's winning that battle at the moment. But furious pace now as Jumbo-Visma do switch over to the left-hand side of the road and assert themselves on the front.
This is that slight downhill section, so this is where they've decided, this is where they're going to lay the power down, and you can see the speed they're going at.
Different order of attack this time. It's Nathan Van Hooydonk on the front. He's going to have to release the smooth power of the Italian time trialist now, Edoardo Affini. Affini with Wout van Aert on his wheel. Olaf Kooi, and we've seen it time and time again. 1.5 kilometres to go. Affini, Van Aert, Kooi. Who can possibly disrupt this train? On his wheel, though, Sam Bennett, the Irishman, has picked the wheel once again of Olaf Kooi. Then comes Max Canter, then Davide Bomboy, and Rory Townsend. No sign of Luke Lamperty, and Ethan Vernon is in around about 7th or 8th place, just alongside Tom Pidcock. Here's the first left-hander. About 100 metres later, there's a second left-hander, and Wout van Aert has launched the flyer off the front. Van Aert attacking this time. Totally different script. Opens up a 2-3 second advantage. Left-handed then, 880 metres for Van Aert to hang on if he can. Could this be the first time gap in the general classification? Van Aert, it looks like, is going to try and hold on for victory. Jumbo-Visma finally on stage 5 doing the unexpected, and he's at it again. The exceptional Wout van Aert close to the finish line. No one saw that coming, and Van Aert's attack totally unanswerable. The sprint is unfolding behind him. He looks round, he checks, he's got to keep riding, got to try and take a time gap if he can. But Van Aert does it again for Jumbo-Visma. It's Ben Turner who's sprinting behind. Van Aert's going to hold on though. Wout van Aert lights up the Tour of Britain. Only he can do that. Danny Van Poppel and Ethan Vernon close for second place. It might have gone to Ethan Vernon. Kooi celebrates the performance of his teammates, and it was vintage Van Aert.
Wow, that was a stroke of genius from Jumbo-Visma. Everybody thought they knew what they were going to do. Only they knew they had that plan up their sleeve. Executed to perfection, but as you say, only Wout van Aert could do that. Brilliant. So there they go. Everyone's expecting Wout van Aert to now do the lead-out, take it through the corners. But look, Olaf Kooi and Nathan Van Hooydonk put the brakes on. Put the brakes on deliberately, and then Sam Bennett goes. He realises what they're doing, but it's too late.
It's one here, isn't it, effectively?
There's it was the hesitation going through there. Oh. And they'd rubbed the speed off the whole peloton, Nathan Van Hooydonk and Olaf Kooi, so they had to reboot Wout van Aert, but let's not underestimate that ride. Doing the kilometre in modern bike racing is unheard of.
Well, and he takes a time gap as well. There will be a timed gap there, I'm pretty certain, for Wout van Aert, who will take the lead of the race. And no doubt about the fact that he won the stage, though. Stage 5 goes to Wout van Aert. I mean, no one else is in the frame. You'd expect normally, David, for them to be right snapping on his heels here as they unfold their sprints. But they're nowhere near him.
No, because I think all the lead-out riders had gone. I think the strategy had been based off what they've done every other day. So it was just the sprinters left behind, Olav Koy and Nathan van Hooydonk, once they put the brakes on. They had nobody to chase him.
Look at that, Jumbo-Visma. 5 out of 5. Koy hands over to that man, Wout van Aert. Jumbo-Visma winning again, this time with Wout van Aert, and he's the first rider to take a time gap as well. 3 seconds to a sprint won by Ethan Vernon, who finishes in second place, with Danny van Poppel of Bora Hansgrohe popping up in third. Tom Pidcock finished 9th over the line in the top 10. Wout van Aert of Jumbo-Visma celebrates a superb solo win after one of the most audacious sprints seen in the Tour of Britain. And with that result, he establishes a lead at the top of the general classification of 3 seconds ahead of Ethan Vernon in second place. Tom Pidcock is still there at 3 seconds on 7th, and Gonzalo Serrano, last year's winner, is still in the top 10 in 9th. And as we enter the second half of the Tour, Olav Koy of Jumbo-Visma still has the lead in the Cottages.com points jersey. James Fouché of Bolton Equities Black Spoke retains his lead in the black Pinarello King of the Mountains jersey. Olav Koy retains his lead in the white Sportive Breaks Best Young Rider jersey. And Ethan Vernon leads the Best British Rider category.
Really pleased to say I'm joined here on the finish line in Felixstowe by, well, man of the moment, Wout van Aert, now in the leader's jersey. Wout, just talk us through that plan where you distanced the rest of the peloton because they thought you were going to lead out Olaf once again, but you went solo. Talk us through it.
Exactly. We tried to think a bit outside of the box. Last couple of days has been really good, of course, with all successful lead outs for Olaf. And yeah, yesterday evening we, like every day, we were looking to the course and looking to make new plans. And yeah, it was a bit of a gamble, but yeah, because we did it 4 times in a row the same, we believed there was a big chance of surprising the others. So yeah, really crazy day worked out.
Almost didn't work because a couple of Ks out you took a very wide corner and you were suddenly back down the wrong end of the peloton. So how hard was it to fight your way back to the front?
Yeah, it was quite tough, and at the first moment I thought yeah, the whole plan wouldn't work out because yeah, you don't want to waste the effort like that already with 7K to go. But I think a few guys didn't see the roundabout well, and my team was a bit blocked because we were on the wrong side of the road. So I almost crashed, and then yeah, luckily we stayed calm and moved up together. And yeah, to be honest, it's only possible because it's quite a small bunch here with only 100 riders or something. So yeah, luckily we could come to the front and still do what we had in our mind.
Wout, stay there because tomorrow is another day. Stage 6 in Essex. Let's have a closer look. After rolling out from Southend's western esplanade in the shadows of the city's historic pier, the first 65 kilometres loop around the towns of Rochford, Southwood and Ferrers and Burnham-on-Crouch for the stage sprint. The route then commences its westerly path towards Harlow through the stage's only King of the Mountain at Ship Road. The final 45k will see the riders jockeying for position to emulate Lorena Wiebes, who triumphed on day 2 of the 2022 Women's Tour at the very same location. Okay, 3 more stages remaining. Wow, what's the plan between here and Caerphilly in South Wales so you can keep hold of that jersey and win the Tour of Britain for the 2nd time?
Yeah, stay calm because there will be a lot of hours in the bus.
Apart from the hours in the bus, what about on the road? Because you're going to get attacked now. Surely Ineos Grenadiers, Bora Hansgrohe, Movistar, they're going to get motivated to take the task to you.
Yeah, sure. We can feel this day by day. It's growing. I mean, we won all the stages so far, which is really crazy. But also, we feel other teams try different things, and also today we had quite a hard time to control things in the beginning. There was a lot of interest in the breakaway, so I expect more of the same in the coming days. But yeah, we also show we're a strong team, so really confident in the boys, and yeah, it's nice to have a 3-second lead in a race without bonifications. So yeah, it's up to the others to try and drop me.
Strong team, incredibly strong rider. Wow, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate today. So entertaining on the road as well. Stage 6, live here on ITV4 tomorrow from 11:30. Do join us if you can. Bye for now.